Cineped likes to market their invention as a tripod replacement. This one piece of equipment can go down all the way flat on the floor and function just as low as a hi-hat, and it can also go up as high as your standard legs will go. It doesn't come on a conventional camera tripod. In fact, it's a quadrupod. It has 4 individual tripod legs. There's no spreader, you'll notice, which is a nice invention, meaning there's nothing in the middle of the legs that's going to get in the way of trying to mount this in unusual areas. You'll notice that there's these very big, obvious stickers that says "Do not lift here" directly on top of the actual sliding component. Your instinct is to kind of reach there initially, but no, reach down to the actual slider where it says "Hold here" and pull from there as you lift it up out of the case. First of all, unlock each of the legs. Now you go ahead and first line up the 2 red dots, which line up at 30-degree angles. And go ahead and lock it down there. This is a really easy way to make sure all of your legs are out at the same angle. Now the red dots denote the minimum angle for a safe, stable platform. At a 15-degree angle, when it's too narrow, because if you had all legs at that angle, you wouldn't have enough spread on the contact points of the 4 legs on the ground to give you a stable enough platform to use the slider safely. So once I find where it's stable and where it's nice and level, make sure everything is pushed down nice and tight, then I can go ahead and grab the slider. You look for the key locking and line that up with one of the 3 keyholes on the Mitchell base. Once it's in there, take your tie down, go ahead and reach underneath and lock it in. So total setup time on a level surface, I think I did that in under a minute. There is a second washer for the tie down in the case. The second washer, you might be wondering, is actually used if you're mounting the slider on the end of like a Fisher dolly or something like that. You need an extra washer to get a little bit extra thickness so the tie down will reach and tighten down correctly. It's important to note when you're leveling it, you always want to make sure that this piece here is in the locked position. You don't want your camera sliding back and forth while you're a little bit unsteady. It's rated up to 150 pounds at the end, and if you're only using it in the middle, like directly as like a tripod would, it would actually hold up to 600 pounds. I don't know why you'd ever need to go that heavy. It's very versatile, and like I said, you can mount anything from a fully loaded studio-style camera package to like even a really small DSLR. You have a 3.5 feet of travel with the Cineped from left to right. At the end of the sliding movement, there are some high-powered magnets that are stoppers so that it will, as long as you're not moving too quickly, they will buffer the ending move. And it's also very portable, so if you wanted to reposition for a close-up or a wider shot, or if your director just wanted to get a new angle, 2 people can easily grab the slider on either end with the camera still attached, as long as it's locked down. 2 people can grab a handle on either end and just easily pick it up and walk it to a new position. There's a variety of really cool moves that the slider can do. The most obvious one is the left to right. Left to right tracking is a really nice way to add some slow, smooth motion to your image. And then there's always the variations where you can be panning or tilting in the middle of your move to give it just a little bit of extra dimensionality. The nice thing about the Cineped is that it also has a rotation movement. This locking pin here in the front allows the Cineped to rotate very smoothly. It's actually, the bearing on here is just as smooth as the slider bearing. So this lets you to reposition the Cineped for a forward to back movement. And in 5 seconds, I've now moved from being a left to right tracking to doing a push in or pull out type of move. Another cool move is that because this rotation is so smooth, it allows you to easily do what I guess is the best way to describe it is like a swing. So just to give you an example, you can easily swing the Cineped and it'll just keep going and going. There's very little friction. And this opens up all types of new possibilities for interesting camera moves you can do if you choose to get creative. Pretty common one is with a swing in full operation is for the operator to just kind of draw like a little, if you imagine drawing like a little square on the floor with the camera as you go back and forth. It just gives you a little, I'm kind of exaggerating here to show for the camera, but it just gives you a little bit of extra motion like in your close-ups or something that looks really cool on camera. Another fun move is accomplished by using the magnets that are on either end of the slider, which lets you push in, but and then the force of the magnet will gently push the camera back. So if you're zoomed in or have a long lens on there and you're in a close-up, a lot of music videos will use this technique. They'll sit there and they'll kind of just bump the lens and push it in and out rapidly, getting that juddering type of effect. So that's the Cineped. Thanks for checking it out. We are always happy to rent it for you here. It's an affordable way to add production value to pretty much any production. It cancels out several items from your normal gear that you have to haul around, like your tripod, your baby legs, and your standard legs, and your hi-hat. It replaces all of those things. And like I said, it's affordable. We can rent it to you here. You can always purchase one yourself directly from Cineped. They're a great company. Yeah, that's the Cineped.